A winking boob? A train wreck? He's just not into you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Blind Date After
I'm Maria
Show.
Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? Hello and welcome to the Blind Date After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I am your host with the queenly touch, ReGina Coles, and we are covering Season 1, Episodes 13, 14, 15, and 16. So hold on to your seats and your thoughts. And joining me is my sidekick and my producer who makes all things good for me during this broadcast, Vito.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you again.
Yeah. So, listen, let me give initial thoughts and also tell you guys out there that you don't want to go anywhere because Vito has some juicy news to share with you.
We've got some couples.
Yeah, ooh, celebrity news at that. And also, guys, I've got my Miss Regina's dating do's and don'ts, and I got some juicy ones because these were some juicy episodes, Vito.
Good to hear.
That is my initial thoughts. They upped the game, and I love it. They upped the dating game. All right, so let's get to it. Starting with episode 13, I've got my notes right here. And that couple was Nadia and Dan. And this one really lit up out the gate right away because these two are musicians and they sing and they play. So their date was in a studio, which was okay. That's all good. I love music. I'm a musician myself. So, the thing that got me, first of all, that I didn't like about Dan was his singing and playing was not that impressive. But, oh well, she wasn't out, going on a date with him because of his singing and playing. But anyway, getting right to the juicy stuff. This date was dead on arrival. You know why? Can you guess, Vito?
No, I don't know why.
Well, let me give you a hint.
Okay.
It has something to do with her best friend.
Oh, no. Did he date her best friend previously?
He not only dated her.
Oh, wait. Were they married?
He slept with her.
Oh, no.
So, and I was a little suspicious about that. We know that's a no-no, right?
And did they know? Did anybody in that situation know?
Nadia knew. And I'm wondering because on this show, you're not supposed to troll anybody on social media. You're supposed to be, a blind date. You don't know anything about the person that you're going to date. But for some reason, she told him right away, oh, I think you know my best friend. And as the date progressed, sure enough, he slept with her best friend.
Disastrous.
So, okay, he broke the number one cardinal rule. And what's the other cardinal rule about dating somebody, sleeping with them? You don't what? Kiss and
tell.
Exactly.
Oh, no. Did he talk about her on the first
he dogged her friend, So, that couple, they were like, there was no chance of anything going any further with those two. And so with that being said, of course there wasn't a second date. And so definitely don't kiss and tell. And if you've dated somebody's best friend, and it seemed like it was recent, not like it was a year or two ago. And even that might be a little touchy. But either way, they were dead on arrival because of that. Have you ever known anyone to do such a thing?
I don't think I've known anybody to ever. I'm sure that I have had friends that have ended up like dating somebody who was friends with somebody else and then dating the other person. But I think it was like one of those agreed upon things where it was like, oh yeah, you dated them, but we're not all really friends anymore, so we're gonna date and that'll be fine.
Right.
But never have I ever heard of a situation like this in which on a blind first date,
I know.
you talk about your friend who you both know. That's terrible.
I don't even know why she went through with the date, because if it were me, I would just basically be like, okay, I'm sorry, but I know that you slept with my best friend and I'm not down with that. And obviously the relationship did not go well. And that's just some kind of baggage I don't want to be a part of.
100% me too.
Because your best friend is never going to get over that. And why would you want her leftovers anyways?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, come on. I don't know. I'm not going behind my best friend. And so moving on, I want to touch real quick on the second couple because they were my worst. And normally I don't want to put too much time in the worst ones, but I did want to say one thing about these guys. There were two guys, Ben and Tribe, and their dating was a boxing wrestling workout, which, well, that's fine. They got down into their boxing clothes and so they could see each other's body or whatever. But the thing that got me about this particular couple, which really turned me off, is that Try pretty much got drunk quick out the gate. And every place he went, he's ordering 2 shots of tequila here, 2 shots there. And Ben is a Navy guy. And so, people in the military, they are, pretty disciplined. And so that was like a real turnoff. And then when they went to the hot tub, he tried to kiss him and he was sloppy drunk. And so putting myself in that position, I don't blame Ben. He ended the date. So good for him.
Yeah, we've talked about this before on this show. I don't believe in like drinking heavily on the first date. I know some people have nerves and stuff like that.
Right.
But when would you ever want to be intoxicated in a situation like that? Especially when you're starting to get to know a person. If that's what you want to put out into the world, that's what you'll receive.
I know. And one thing, and that's going to be part of my do's and don'ts. They're going to be juicy, guys. Stick with us.
Stick around.
So speaking of juicy, anybody on the chat yet?
No, we don't, guys. Remember, if you have anything to say about blind dates, about drinking on the first
Or
date,
dating.
or dating in general, hit us up in
We
the live
wanna
chat,
hear it.
in
We wanna
iTunes
hear it.
comments, or in the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
We'll be looking.
Okay, but anyways, right now I do want to take time out to thank everybody out there for supporting AfterBuzz TV. We definitely couldn't do it without you. And as you know, we are the ESPN of TV talk, and you have a variety of shows here to watch on AfterBuzz TV. And so we appreciate when you guys do watch and you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, and when you go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel, and also give us the thumbs up and leave all your wonderful, amazing comments, which I love to read regardless. And a lot of times, most times, I do answer back. I think a lot of our viewers have great insight. And I'm just missing those guys last week with all that great insight they had. Maybe, you know what? It is the holiday season, so something tells me people might be out shopping.
And I'm sure they'll be back for 2020.
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure. So, anyways, let's move on from episode 13 to episode 14. And this couple was Stefan and Brittany. And they were a really cute couple. And here we have another foot fetish guy. What's up with the foot fetishes?
Apparently, it's super popular. I'm not into it.
Yeah, so it doesn't bother you if a woman or a guy doesn't have, pretty feet. I mean, I know you're into women.
So I just look. Everybody's got what they want. I don't know if I know anybody personally that has a foot fetish, but it's like, look, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. I guess like it's a body part, you know?
Well, Britney's feet passed the test.
Good for her.
But the thing about it was, Stefan said he was a karaoke king. So, and his favorite artist is Bobby Brown. So, right away, that turned Britney off. And why do you think that would turn her off? Because she's comparing him to Bobby Brown and his relationships, like with Whitney Houston and that kind of thing. And so that pretty much turned her off to Stefan. But as the day progressed, she got over it. She got over it. And I think she loosened up a bit, and he loosened up a bit. And I thought that they were a really cute couple. But one thing that I didn't like about Britney is early on when they were on their date, their date was skating. I thought that was a great date, going roller skating. Anything like that, physical activity or exercise, I should say, out in the open where it's safe and you can have fun and just be yourself. I like that. But anyhow, he was trying to show her how to skate, so he was a little touchy-feely. And I guess in that instance, it's okay. But she did make the comment, which I agree, if I were in that position. I don't want you, like, touching me, touching my boobs or my butt or anything like that under the guise of you're trying to help me learn how to skate. But I can understand, because when you're skating or trying to learn how to skate, you got to pretty much hold that person up on those skates. So she made the comment that, I don't like you being touchy-feely. So good, I agree. Stick to that. But then I look up, and when they moved on to the hot tub, she totally let her guard down. And so it's like he was pretty much touchy-feely. So I don't know. I just feel like on the first date, I think you should, keep your distance. What do you think?
We've also talked about this before, but I stay it really depends on the boundaries, I think, that you want to set. Because I know some people that are very sexually active and that, like, really that's what they're looking for when it comes to a relationship. Mm-hmm. And, like, if that's the precedent that you want to set on date number one, that's the precedent that you want to set on date number one. But, like, I think it's all about personal boundaries. I don't know if she had something going into it that she was like, I really don't want him to touch me, or I really want him to touch me. I think the ultimate killer of that kind of dating scenario is the gray area. Mm-hmm. When there's a gray area, I believe people will take advantage of that.
They will, and that's why for me, and when I was dating, or, even now, I think when you say something, that you should mean it. Yeah. Because otherwise, if you don't stick to your guns, that's just opening you up for people to take advantage of you and for you to really let your guard down. And then you might do something that you regret doing later.
Yeah, I think it's all about being vocal, being open, and being able to have that communication line with each other. And honestly, for me, if I can't find a way to get that communication line right off the bat, mm-hmm. It's very dangerous.
Right.
It's a very dangerous way to go, and honestly, not comfortable for me.
Right. But anyways, they were a really nice couple, and they had a lot of great chemistry, and they definitely were smitten by each other. So much to, let me see in my notes here. Stefan agreed that he would give up Bobby Brown for her. Now that's...
On a first date?
Yeah, right. That's not cool, is it?
I just think it's like some people get too eager with first dates, in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
I mean, to be fair, I've been in that place, but that was back when I was like in like high school, stuff like that. When I was like, when I didn't even understand. I was like, oh my God, this is love. This is exactly what I wanted all the time.
And it's not.
Of course, it's a
It's
first
not.
date. And especially as an adult, like, you should understand that. Like, hey, we're both adults. We both have our own interests. We can have separate interests.
Right.
I
And
don't
when
know.
you get those endorphins going and the
Yeah.
mood is right, and especially after you've had some alcohol, and of course, that just makes you let your guard down even more, then you may say things that you really don't mean.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably been one of the setbacks with the show's average of having repeat dates.
Oh.
So far, they don't have a good average of repeat dates.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's because, number one, a lot of these couples aren't really that compatible, or chemistry-wise, they don't have it. But I think the biggest part is once you start drinking and you let your guard down, you start saying and doing things that you really probably wouldn't do. And some of them might feel like they're embarrassed and they don't want to go on a second date, or either they just don't tell the show that. They might go on a second date, but they want the cameras out of it to really see how does this person act when they're not being filmed.
That's a totally other aspect of the show that I didn't think about until you just brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that these people are dealing with first dates,
Right.
but also dealing with first dates in front of a camera.
In front of a camera, in front of producers telling you, okay,
Of course.
do this, say that, or, you know.
And no wonder that they're getting so nervous and drinking so much, because they're like, all right, this has to go well. I can't look like crap in front of everybody. But that's what they signed up for. First dates, I'm
Exactly.
sure, are not exactly like this most of the time.
Exactly.
Unless it's hidden camera, which is different.
Yeah, I don't think this is hidden camera. I think they're like right in your face, because you see when they're driving in the car, the driver is right there, all ears open,
Yikes.
But so let's move on. They were really a nice couple, and they said they were going on a second date, so we'll see. So episode 15, man, I think this was kind of like the date from hell here.
I'm so excited to hear why.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you have Steven, a waiter, 39 years old. Normally, I don't really say the ages, but for here, I think it's relevant. And then Lisa, who is a school teacher, and she's 44.
Okay.
So the episode opens up with Lisa in the limo drinking vodka.
That's fun. That's a fun start.
She had her red cup, and she's getting the party started without her date.
Does the date
Well,
does the date
okay.
show up?
Well, listen to this. Steven doesn't drink. So,
Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
before we go any further, what's been your experience with, have you dated somebody that didn't drink, or you didn't drink, or vice versa? They drink, you didn't, or
I have actually, so I do drink.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty high tolerance, so I feel comfortable drinking in most scenarios, I'd like to
Okay.
say. But
Okay.
it does, I have had relationships with people who have not drank before, and honestly, not really ever been a problem. It's
Mm-hmm. Really?
it's been one of those things where me and them communicated enough, where it
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and you don't have to do this, and as long as you're comfortable with me doing this, we're cool. So I think, but that's never been on a first date. Like
Mm-hmm.
a first date I am happy to say that none of my first dates have involved drinking. But I have had long-term relationships where it's been like, all right, I do this thing, just so you know, and they've been like, cool, I don't do that thing. And I was like, cool, that's it.
thing about and that's okay. I mean, I drink, and I've been in situations like with friends, and another friend might not drink,
Yeah.
and then the group may apply a little pressure, like, oh, you're boring, you don't drink,
I hate
or
that.
But then you have situations where people can't handle their alcohol. And that is Lisa, to me.
Oh, no.
Well, she's a school teacher.
She should have known. Does she know? Did she know?
Okay, so their date was a cooking class. They cooked pasta, thank God, because she needed some carbohydrates in that stomach with all that vodka. And the date got off to a really rocky kind of start because every third word that came out of her mouth was, "Oh, I got to have some vodka."
Oh, my gosh.
So at that point, what do you do if you're the person who doesn't drink and she's constantly asking for vodka and wants to drink something?
I mean, first of all, that sounds like she's got a little bit of
A drinking
something-
problem.
Yeah, it sounds like she's got something going on. Not to judge, it's just to say, hey, you got to look out for yourself in some of these situations, especially, this is a first date. This is a blind first date. What are you thinking?
Well, and one thing I didn't like that, okay, I'm going to take it over to Stephen, but he asked her how old she was, and I thought that was tacky because you really shouldn't ask guys a woman's age. I mean, if some women want to say it, fine. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but why? He was judging her because he was saying, oh, for 44 years old, she's got a great-looking body. And I'm like, well, how old do you have to be to have a great-looking body? I mean, I'm older than that, I'll say, and I think I'm in pretty good darn shape. So, I didn't like that at all. So that would have been a turnoff for me. But not as much of a turnoff as Lisa was, as she kept drinking, and he wasn't drinking with her. And then she got into a situation with him at the restaurant where she was saying the waitress was hot and maybe they could get her into a threesome.
Oh, no. That is just like number one for like, just what do these people think that they're doing when they think that these are okay things?
Right.
Especially for somebody who's on work. Like, why do you think it's okay to say that about somebody who is working?
Well, you know what? I had to ask myself after seeing this couple, were they actors? Is this woman really a teacher? Because I used to be a school teacher, and I'll tell you right now, if my students saw me on TV or the parents or my administrator,
I didn't even think about that.
coworkers, that's pretty darn scary.
Not only is that scary, but it just shows you like she was not thinking of herself.
She
in
wasn't.
any of
You
this
don't give
situation.
out that kind of information on a first date, especially if you are someone who is a public servant.
Yeah.
Like
and for children especially.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know there's a stereotype sometimes with like teachers being stressed and doing that. And obviously teachers are still people. They still have like romantic lives and stuff like that. But that is not a means of security for you if that's what you're looking for.
So the night pretty much ended up going with Stephen saying that she humped his knee.
Oh.
And, he just pretty much ended the date. He thought she was too aggressive, too wacky. She was cursing and just not a lady. And to me, at her age, you are just too old to be so reckless.
Yeah.
Any woman that age, come on now. I'll give you a pass if you're in your early 20s, but man, when a woman gets like past, I say 25 or so, come on, clean your act up. She was like really tacky. And if she really, truly is a school teacher, I won't be surprised if she's out of a job.
I also would not be surprised.
So I'm going to be digging for some backup news on this date. in particular because I want to really see, I want to do some research. Is she really and truly a school teacher? Because if she is, wow, I would be scared for those kids.
Did they say any school district or anything? I
Oh,
guess
God,
not.
no.
Just her first name, I'm guessing.
Yeah, her first
jeez.
name, but
I'm sure you'll find something on it.
it just made me really leery because I felt like this can't be a real scenario.
Yeah.
Maybe it's actors, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Who knows? I mean, like I said, I taught school, and let me tell you, school teachers are human too.
Yeah.
I could tell you some stories about coworkers I had partying all night and then coming into the classroom,
Yeah.
from the club.
Everybody's human.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on. Time flies when you're having
Yeah,
fun.
time does fly.
So we are at episode 16, and my favorite couple, this couple was another doozy. Like I said, man, they really amped up the activities and the type of personalities they had with these episodes. So Chelsea, 30 years old, a very well-built realtor who likes to date older guys, which translates into sugar daddies, right? And so
Good for her.
she went on a date with David, hotel manager, 47, with a man bun. Now, ladies, to each your own, but I don't like man buns. I don't like any guy that puts his hair up in a ball or a bun. It's just not sexy to me. I'm sorry. No comment on that, eh?
I'm just going to say, if my hair was long, I might do it, but it's not long, so I'm not.
You know what? To me, leave the buns to the ladies. So anyways, their date was very interesting and my kind of date, but not the way it progressed. They met at a high-end women's boutique, clothing boutique. And he had all these sexy outfits, fitted dresses with revealing, parts to it. And he picked out dresses for her. And so right away, I felt like, no.
What do you mean? Why? You don't think?
I don't know you.
Interesting.
Why are you picking my clothes? So
That is, I didn't think about it that way. That is a very controlling measure.
And so every outfit was very revealing and ultra sexy.
Yeah.
And this date made me think that maybe these two are actors too. Chelsea kind of reminded me of a girl that could work in a high-end strip club. No offense. She was a very attractive lady, blonde hair, very well built. And the unique thing about her body was that she had a winking boob.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
You know how guys flex their pecs and they move up and down?
Sure, yeah.
She could do that with like her right boob.
So she has strong pectoral muscles, I guess?
Or either it's a bad boob job.
Maybe.
I don't know. But anyways, their date was strictly sexual. Everything about the date was just oozing with sexuality.
And money, apparently.
He said David, that he wasn't looking for a sugar mama. But, I don't know. She came across being too easy to me and almost ditzy. Yeah. So he paid $900 for the dress that she picked out that she liked. And I said, sure.
Good for her.
Yeah, right. So what's he expecting after paying $900?
Well, if he's a good guy, maybe nothing. But I don't think he was going in that thinking of nothing.
Well, I'm sure the show paid for it. But anyways, I just think that when you come across the way she did, just scantily clothed with her boobs hanging out, and she was really touchy-feely with him. She didn't seem to have any inhibitions as far as getting sexual with him. And almost to a tease. And ladies, that is so dangerous. And I would not ever put myself in that position. I mean, as a woman, it doesn't take much for a guy to get aroused, okay? And so I just think she pushed the button too far, the envelope, too far with her sexuality. And to me, she was sending out all the wrong signals, because if they were to continue dating, then where do you go from there when you're so aggressive with your body and the sexual innuendo? I just think you set yourself up to be treated a certain way and thought of in a certain way.
But I guess it's all about what she wanted out of that. Did she say she wanted something specifically romantic? Did she say she wanted anything at all? Did she talk about her did she talk about any of her goals with the relationship?
Well, she likes older men with money.
Then I think her goals were clear, and you know what? If in my opinion, I don't think she was necessarily in the wrong, because if she found somebody that was willing to do that, then they're willing to do it.
Yeah, but it's the first date, and I just think when you push every envelope in the first date, where do you go on the second date? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
I mean, if you give all the goodies up on the first date, what's left?
Well, some men will go back for it.
Well, but it's been my experience as far as my wisdom, and that if you're too easy, easy come, easy go. So
understandable.
We'll see. But guess what?
But what?
No data, no second date, no
second
update.
Date? Oh.
Right. So
she'll find someone, I'm sure.
Well, she's an attractive lady, and let's face it, I don't know too many guys that'll turn out a body like that. Now, will they stay long term? That's another question. Yeah. But anyway, I just wouldn't put myself out there like that. I just feel like you still have to be a lady. And you also have to take into account you're on television. And so if you ever want to be taken seriously by a job, profession, and she was a realtor, who are your next clients going to be, and what are they going to think of you if they see this?
Yeah.
So, just things to take into context. So, with that being said, do you have some news?
I do have some AfterBuzz TV news.
All right.
So today we're heading back to our list from BuzzFeed of couples that we got in 2019. So firstly, I wanted to talk a little bit about Dua Lipa and Anwar Hadid.
Oh, Dua Lipa, I love her.
These two seem so nice. I know Anwar Hadid is the brother of Gigi Hadid.
Oh, he is handsome.
Yeah,
He's
he
quite a
is.
model himself.
Yeah, and I love their indie stylings. They look really fun. They're really nice. And they apparently were seen in July, and apparently, so Anwar's grandmother, also Gigi's grandmother, apparently they were both seen at her funeral, but she was not the only one. There was also other couples seen, like Gigi had somebody with her who was from The Bachelor, but they are no longer together. So this is actually one couple from that situation that did stay together.
Okay.
Furthermore, we've got Miranda Lambert and Brendan McLaughlin.
The police officer from New York's finest.
Yes, and man, is he New York's finest.
Yes.
In February, apparently, in an Instagram post, they had apparently gotten married.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
they are married.
They had then just been attached by the side ever since in February.
And you know how she met him?
No, how?
She was appearing on Good Morning America.
Wow.
And he was assigned to Good Morning America as security.
He was stationed outside. Yeah, it actually says that. That's so funny. Good for them, honestly.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, and then lastly, we have Halsey and Evan Peters.
Is that a Halloween picture?
Yeah, that is a Halloween picture.
It was like they look like Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, you're very, very right with that. But apparently photos emerged of them this summer of Halsey and Evan holding hands at Six Flags and then in October. And then in late October, Halsey accompanied Evan Peters to American Horror Story's Halloween party where they dressed as Sonny and Cher. You were absolutely correct.
Because she used to date the rapper.
Yes.
What's his name?
I'm blanking on
Jeezy
it as well.
or Young G. G Money.
I think it's G-Eazy. I think you're right.
G-Eazy,
Yeah,
G-Eazy, I
think you're
believe.
right. But yeah, so I'm happy to see those two together. It's nice to see some happy couples coming out of 2019. I'm so excited to see who we get in the next century, in the next decade, where we will, I'm sure, see plenty more love.
Okay, so I'm going to move right into my special segment of Miss Regina's Do's and Don'ts, guys. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but first of all, you don't kiss and tell, regardless. I love that sound effect. Is that Law and Order?
Yes, that is the Law and Order sound
effect. I love
effect.
that. So never kiss and tell. I don't care who it is. Keep what goes on in the bedroom or wherever between you and that partner. You're not obligated to tell or share the dirty details. No, I'm kidding. The details with anybody. So don't kiss and tell, because you never know who knows who. And so my second one is with the teacher, Rita. Man, remember you're on television and you can't take this stuff back, just like being on the internet. Once stuff is put out there, you can't pull it back. And so you don't ever want to set yourself up in the future to lose out on a job or even that special someone, because you put something out there that might not really be you, or something that should be so private that you shouldn't share to the masses like that. So just keep in mind that whatever you say and do is going to be out there, and it can come back to haunt you.
My parents are very, very into that idea of like, hey, keep everything off of the internet. They don't use Facebook. They don't use social media generally. And honestly, I think sometimes you are way better off to not share things on the internet.
Right.
If it's not beneficial for anything, because people will stick their nose in any business that you show them.
Right. And it's like getting drunk and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And sometimes businesses between, especially in a couple, business might just be better off between you two.
Yeah.
Because nobody else knows you two better than you two.
Exactly, because sometimes you won't be able to live it down. So, and my other don't is, ladies and gentlemen, have standards for yourself. If you don't respect yourself, that other person is not going to respect you either. So you have to set your standards high for yourself and love yourself first.
Absolutely.
And when you love yourself first, the other person is going to love you.
Yep. Relying on other people for validation for yourself and for love for yourself will not work.
Exactly. So those are my do's and don'ts. And thank you. I'm going to make a prediction now.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I'm going to predict that my favorite couple out of all of these episodes, Brittany and Stefan, yes, Mr. Bobby Brown, a.k.a. karaoke singer. And she's the foot model. I predict that those guys are definitely going to hook up and go on a second date. And so I'm hoping, that's my prediction, because they seem to really have a genuine chemistry. And so we're going to do our research, Vito, and see if that holds true.
But I guess we'll have to see in 2020.
Yes, definitely in 2020, because we are going on our hiatus for the holiday season. And once again, we want to thank you all for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. And you can find me on Instagram at Regina Coles, or on Twitter at Regina Coles. And with that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Blind Date After Show. And we are looking for more juicy dates in the new year. So to you and yours, have a happy holiday season, a safe one, and a beautiful new year.
Our
Bye.
founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.